Lucky Lefty podcast. Honora Boys in the building. Brought to you by Honora Whiskey, honorawhiskey.com, the premium American whiskey, honorawhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure you do it.
Responsibly.
Got to do it responsibly, Left. You already know. We reside at CFB Nation, and we're presented by
Twisted Tea.
Tea. Hey, we're going to take a first look at the Sun Bowl. Left had an interesting conversation with a signal caller. But first of all, Left, how was your Christmas, bro?
It was solid. Don't really do too much, but glad it's another day getting closer to a new year.
I have to talk to you offline because I don't know if you watched it, but yo, you and I have to sit down and have a conversation about that Joe Budden podcast with Dr. Umar, bro.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Bro, hey man, let me tell you something. If you're going to bring podcasters, like if you're going to bring someone on your show who is an intellectual in a certain area, it will behoove you to do your homework. You do not want to go up against an intellectual with your emotions.
Yeah, he couldn't help but kept denying the truth. It's like, listen, it's okay, man. You just making
It's
it
not
worse
even
by fighting
about
it the way he's fighting it.
truth, everything. I'm just telling you. I used to get on Angela Yee about this all the time, right? She was terrible at interviews because on multiple occasions she would get caught unprepared, either not knowing about the upcoming album, not listening to the tracks. And it's like, dude,
Yeah, she be freestyling it.
like you cannot freestyle, man. You have to do your homework.
Don't get me started on the girl that admitted she making up sideline halftime reports. Oh man, that's just like just the
One of the
audacity.
look, one of the things about that I love about you, bro, and I tip my cap. You are all about the craft. Like literally, we move around the time of Lucky Lefty podcast during the season based upon you having to do a player interview, coach interview on the Monday or Tuesday before a game on a Saturday. Like you are putting in the work and working at the craft to make sure you're prepared, bro. And I always laugh because like the day before you leave, I always ask you, like, you got your two or three, interesting facts just in case it's a blowout. And we both laugh about it, right? Because if you get a blowout like this, you got to
Right.
come up with something. You got
Yeah,
to come up with
you gotta
something.
start, entertaining for sure.
So, man, to everyone that has an interest in the sports journalism field, or you have an interest in being a content curator, like, yo, just put in the work. Do your
Yeah, it's really
homework.
trial and error when it comes to content creating. So it's kind of like, uh yeah, I have to talk about it though. The holidays, kids being spoiled. Now, it's only
Is
crazy
this
because
is this from
it,
experience?
this is I know I had a couple gifts when I was younger, but the experience of what they cost now is crazy.
The
So to
toys?
be as spoiled as back then, but what things cost now, I think is just ridiculous.
Well, I think when you're young, most of the time it's the parents that overdo it, right? Because children might ask for one or two things, but when they're small, it's almost like throwing a huge birthday party for a kid that's turning one. That kid isn't
Right.
gonna remember that birthday party.
Yeah,
Like,
eat some
dude,
cake
what?
in the backyard. You want to take them
Right,
to Vegas and
man,
choose
rent out a
extravagant.
room and do all of that. Rent out a hall and dress them up and make it a big
Even when they
production.
12, you want to take them to London and do all type of. It's like I
Dude,
don't
I'm
know.
so mad because from the age of 7 to 13, we took baby girl to Disney World every year. And she can only remember like two times.
Yeah,
That was
it's
like
like
seven
it's
straight years. She went to Disney World, and she only remembers like maybe two of the 3 years.
It's a parent's ego. I swear it is. Because I mean, it's 365. You know,
And
you
we
give
were
them every
guilty of
day.
it. We were guilty of it over here, and then we learned this season. I got her 3 gifts, 3 small gifts, and some money. And she was
That's
like,
it. That's
yeah.
all you
And she
need.
was like, because she's going to Seattle. She flies out. She's spending the New Year's in Seattle, which is dope. I got family up there, a lot of family on my dad's side. My cousin Rob is a professor at UW. So I'm not sure if he's in town because I think he's going to the semifinal game. I don't know when he flies out. So she'll get to see some family. Her and her friends are kicking it. She said they're going to the fish market to throw and catch fish. So that'll be cool. But yeah, we overdo it as parents. We are the drivers. The parents are the drivers of the economy during the holiday season.
I think black people are just zealots on Christmas. We just overdo it, for whatever reason. It's like a marked day where we got to go to hard to the paint.
From a cultural standpoint, that's a great conversation. That's a great conversation. There could be several factors for that, right? Because as for me, now see, my parents treated us, dude, my mother would literally give us the catalog, Sears, Spiegel, Montgomery Ward, and tell us to circle what we want. I was blessed,
Yeah.
bro.
Okay, I
I
remember
was
those
blessed.
days.
Like, circle what you want. And, you know, with that being my experience, I tried to make that the same experience for my baby girl and take it to the next level. So, but there's several factors to that. But that's what I'm saying. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up in 2024, we're gonna have a whole different side of Lucky Lefty podcast. Left is going to be doing some one-on-one interviews. We're going to tease that today with the conversation he had with a signal caller out of the Notre Dame quarterback room. And it's going to be on Lucky Lefty Pod. And we want you guys to subscribe. We're going to get it up and going because it's going to be conversations. We're going to keep it Notre Dame. We're going to keep the show right here on the YouTube
Not
channel the
Shannon
way it
Sharp and
is.
Ocho nightcap. Not.
No, I don't have that in me, bro. I don't.
Yes,
I
I don't
don't.
know how he does both. I don't know how you do TV and do the pod like that.
Yo, I've worked for Disney and I've worked for ESPN, and the fact that
I don't know. I don't know how he's getting away with
I
doing
know
both. I just
because I
because
know
even Stephen A.
man,
podcast ain't Shannon's podcast. So it is kind of interesting how Shannon just goes as hard as he does and then does daytime TV. I didn't know it. I didn't know it goes like that.
now if his agent structured things to where he's not an employee and he's contracted, then Disney has
Okay,
no
then that's a
control.
little different.
They
Okay.
have no control. But if he is an employee of Disney, he would fall under those guidelines of the expectations for Disney employees. It's very interesting. Left, I turned in my predictions on Irish Breakdown for the bowl games. So I'm just going to go ahead and give you the prediction I turned in for Notre Dame and the Oregon State. I'm going to give it to you now. I got Notre Dame winning 31-13 in this one, Left. And, you have Marcus Freeman, who's a veteran. You have Defense
Well, you said
Henson.
31-30?
Yes. 31-13. No, 31-13. If I said 30, I misspoke. I'm sorry. 31-13. Notre Dame over Oregon State. Defense Henson, who's in the place of the new head coach who will not be coaching this game. He will be the interim head coach for the Sun Bowl, the Kellogg's Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, Frosted Flakes. And we know the opt-outs offensively, right? But that Notre Dame defense is intact. And the reason I went with 31-13 is because I expect the offense to take some time to get going.
You giving us 31 points, taking time though?
Yeah, because if they came in, they would blow Oregon State out. They would put up 40 easy. You talk about a new head coach, a new play caller offensively, a third or fourth string quarterback,
That's
right?
us, except we got the
No,
same head
wait,
coach.
wait a minute. Oregon State ain't Notre Dame in recruiting, bro. That's number one.
No, I'm
So,
saying third
so
string quarterback.
the backup,
Third,
is he a third string, second string? He was the backup.
well, at one point he was third string. Wasn't too
I
long
mean, yeah,
until a couple guys.
this spring with
Yeah,
Tyler and
it wasn't too long ago where he was third. But I'm saying in the fact of like, I don't know how much more talented our third string is over their third string when it
hmm
comes to quarterbacks. Now
hmm
everything else, you're right. You know, our second, third string lineman is probably would start for Oregon State.
hmm
You know, I can imagine, or at least be in the running of it.
Yeah.
But it's the battle of the backups. Really, it's like the spring game vibes to me. I think they've been preparing a long time for it, but it's like, come on. I mean, 31 points for the offense with a whole bunch of new pieces. I
hmm
think it'll be a slower start. I think we'll get more in the 23, 24 range at with it all clicking. Because I still don't know how impactful Steve is going to be working the offense a full game. I think in spurts and in packages he looks good. Hopefully Kenny gets some packages in there. But it's just going to be interesting to see how you roll out your first game. My first game we put up at LSU, it was 31 or something. But I mean, we had dudes at that time. I mean,
I mean, Notre Dame has dudes though.
no,
The
I'm
two
saying we
starting
had
running
I'm
backs.
sorry, not dudes. We had more of a synergy at that point.
Got you.
Then it wouldn't like Steve's first time is not like my first time in terms of like working with these guys out there. And I think we had Ronnie Stanley out there, left tackle, killing it for the Ravens yesterday. I saw him out there. Actually, Notre Dame
Ronnie,
guys have
hey,
been
hey,
doing
hey,
well.
let's keep it 100. Ronnie was doing a little of this. They was doing a little of this. We can keep it
That's
real.
you can't you can't
Notre
tell
Dame.
Ronnie
We
that
love
because he
Notre
gonna be
Dame
like, nah,
players,
man,
but
no way.
he he, 97 was a tough package for him, boy. That cat Ronnie could have got a couple of these called on him.
Hey,
You know what I
listen,
mean?
it's a physical game. It's a physical game. Stuff happens. You get caught in the jersey sometimes. We get it. We get it. But hey, they did their job. And just shout out Notre Dame players just making plays the last couple weeks anyway. Alohi was making some. Kyle obviously had a couple picks.
hmm
Hopefully he's all right because I know he got banged up towards the end. Ronnie doing well. So Notre Dame guys is making some type of headway still. Durham Smythe is the longest successful current running guy on one team. I mean, he's the
Yeah.
oldest guy on the Dolphins, and shout out to Durham, man. We was in the hospital the same time, so shout out to him, man. And so it's just cool to see Notre Dame balling, but yeah, it's this Oregon State game. I'm not going to expect it to be high scoring just because it's new for everybody. It's new for Gino. It's new for Steve. Gino's and Steve relationship is going to be on full display. I think it'll give us a great depiction of how hard did Gino work establishing something of a relationship, making Steve more confident and Steve more developed going into these situations because I think that's important. Because now you calling the plays. It's one thing to just be able to. It's one thing to just be able to call and develop an offense that you're helping with, but now to call plays that help them score is another thing.
Yeah, I can lock in with that. I think I went 31, like I said, because I think Notre Dame, just talent wise, offensively, and then Oregon State has its issues offensively as well. Like the running back Martinez opted out, the top wide receiver opted out. So their wide receiver core is very similar. Matter of fact, Notre Dame might have more veterans, Deion Cozy and Jaden Thomas, that have produced playing despite the lack of depth than Oregon State. So it's like, as much as we want to talk about what Notre Dame won't have, Oregon State is in a very
Oregon State's in a tough. That's what I'm saying. Oregon State's not going to be scoring a ton
tough
either.
situation.
I
Tough
think
situation.
it'll shoot 3 scores is a really good thing for Notre Dame offensively.
But see, this is the thing,
I'm
Left.
sorry, 3 touchdowns, not three
This,
scores, three
this is the
touchdowns.
thing, Left. We can talk about Notre Dame's going to try to run the ball to get Steve Angeli into the game. Like, they might come out and take a shot in the first series. But at the end of the day, this team is going to try to run the ball. Let's not be foolish. Oregon State has a front four that can rush the passer, did so all year, gave Michael Penix Jr. Washington State troubles, gave USC troubles. Like, dude, they dominated Shador, or the Shador's offensive line is trash. It's like they gave you Dante Moore and UCLA trouble, right? It is who they are. That's what they do. They're going to pressure, stop the run, load the box,
Yeah, if
and
I
they're
was
going
Oregon
to
State's
put pressure.
defense, I'm like, listen, we have nothing to lose.
They
Let's
have
work on
nothing
our
to
pressures
lose.
all day. Just stay
Nothing to
pressured.
lose. I expect them early on to come out motivated, running all over the place, and probably giving Notre Dame some issues. Notre Dame will find a way to adjust late first quarter, second quarter, get the run game going, maybe get the screen game going. Finally hit some plays in the passing game, probably with the tight ends, sneaking them out. Eli Raridon could have a big day. And then from there, the defense will probably get a couple of turnovers, put them in short fields, special teams. And then ultimately, yeah, they'll get to 31 points. That's my prediction. That's my prediction. So, you know, I would love for Steve Angeli to come out from the first drive in full control. I would love nothing more than to see Steve Angeli come out from the first snap in full control.
I just think
Right?
there's nothing he can do really. Like he goes 500 yards, 4 touchdowns,
Well,
absolutely crazy.
yeah,
I
yeah.
still just don't think that does anything for him in the next season.
No.
Unfortunately,
And he
I think
said,
this is almost no harm, no foul in this game. Like you
yeah,
can't playing bad is almost the same result as playing good.
yeah.
You're still better chance off of leaving,
Mm-hmm.
except in this case, you just having a good game to go off of when you go into the portal.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether if I'm Marcus Freeman, I don't know the conversation that he's had with Steve. But Steve may not even need a conversation. It's just like, you know what we got going on over here.
Steve said he looks forward to competing in the spring, though. That's what he said. He said, I'll get to the spring. He said, I'm looking forward to competing in the spring, but I'm not focused on that right now.
I
So
mean,
we'll
he don't
see.
need to focus on it right now. He need to focus on how you gonna get these backups and a couple of these guys in the end zone. So that's good that he's focused in the present, but he needs to have that in the back of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not act like it's just gonna take care of itself. I think he needs to be more proactive than reactive to that situation, for his own sake.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Marcus Freeman would love to just keep him around as insurance, as an easy follow-on plan. Even though I think Steve should be at least the plan forward, because that way you're closer to finding out if Minchey, CJ Carr, Deuce is the next guy in line that can develop with some time.
Mm.
Riley Leonard's not doing anything for you. That's why I keep going back and forth with people on Twitter. I keep saying, what is Riley Leonard's value to this team?
When your team, are you speaking from 2024? Or are you saying more for the program?
For 2024, which impacts the program. Because I think he's just being a traffic jam to what we have as a flow at the quarterback room. Because now it's like, what are you guaranteeing from Riley? One game better? Really? You can't predict in the playoffs he's one game better when he hasn't had a season where it's standalone better than most people in college football. 2,900 yards and 24 touchdowns isn't impressive in college football as a standalone. It's impressive for where he's at Duke, but as a standalone amongst other quarterbacks in the country, that's like mid-tier. So you're saying that that's one game better in the playoffs than what we have in the quarterback room is not. I don't think it's valid because it's like, well, one game better. Well, I can take my chances on what we got in the quarterback room is one game better. But if it's not championship guaranteed, then how is that any better than what we have in the room right now. And I think that's unnecessary pressure Marcus Freeman is putting on his program because he doesn't have to do that. It's the first year of the playoffs. Getting in qualifies as a good season right now. Because, hell, we don't know that road that is going to take to win it. Nobody does. It's a great season to put an experienced guy out there. Inexperienced in terms of experience, but experienced in terms of being in college football. First time starters, this is the best year to do it. Because the year after this year, okay, it's no more excuses. You need to know what it takes to get there and this and that. But now you're doing it with a first year guy. I just think that's a worse off future uh, plan for the program. Because if you're not guaranteeing you're gonna win it all with Riley, or what value does Riley bring in a scenario like this that's better than what we have? I just think it just muddies up and it makes it more dysfunctional, especially for a guy like DENBROCK who's like, okay, I got Riley for a year, start loving on what we got going on, and he leaves. With Jaden, he's like, look, I can show you Jaden was a 2-year product, and we won a Heisman and won a lot of big games, and it took 2 years to put it all together. But now you're giving me Riley with 1 year, and then I got to do it again with another year. If I'm DENBROCK, I'm mad. I'm like, what are we doing? If I'm DENBROCK, I'm licking my chops at CJ and Minchey and hell, even Steve if he got some more years in him. So it's interesting.
Lucky Lucky podcast. So that's my early first look and my prediction I sent over this morning. I'm super excited to see the young players. Look, if Joe Alton, Blake Fisher were playing, I would predict Notre Dame would put up 45.
Steve got to have a big hand in a 45.
Even if Steve Angeli, if I had the two tackles there, I would be like, yeah, this offense is going to put up 40 points.
I mean, hopefully, this is like the play a game for Notre Dame sweepstakes.
Mm-hmm.
Play one game for your life at Notre Dame quarterback. This is Steve's opportunity.
Yo, Steve Angeli can absolutely change his life. And see, I'm glad you just went into that because no one else can go into the mind of a quarterback going into a bowl game that some people might deem as being meaningless, but the opportunity to change their life at Notre Dame.
Yeah, he's got a great opportunity.
Unless I'm missing somebody, you're the only person that can really give us what it's like to have that opportunity as you had going into the bowl game against LSU as a first-time starter, right? And you were coming off of that second half against USC where you played well on the road, even though you guys took the loss. What is Steve Angeli, what is he feeling right now? Like what were you feeling and what is Steve Angeli feeling right now as he prepares for the Sun Bowl, knowing that like you did, this is his opportunity to prove what he can do?
Yeah, it was a make it break it kind of back against the wall moment because I felt more disrespected. Like I don't quite know how Steve feels, but I felt more disrespected in the fact that it's taking so long and that I felt at that time I had a good opportunity to really show my value to the team like I felt like I could, and so it wasn't really a pressure on me necessarily because I'm like I was meant to I'm about to show you what I've been telling you about kind of thing. And maybe that's the same feeling Steve has. Maybe he felt like he was ready earlier in the year where he felt like he could have taken the reins or done some things to help the team. I mean, he's played well when he's been called on. So it's more of a do or die moment because I felt like if I didn't play well in that bowl game, then it wouldn't have looked great going into next year. And if the transfer thing was the thing, they probably would have explored options. So I felt that as an opportunity to showcase myself on the value to the team and then, show all the things that I've been working on. So it really was a thing where I was just more excited to play than it was nervousness. It was just I need to get that first hit out the way. And I felt like I was locked in because at that time we're playing with some of the best guys in the country. So I'm like, ain't too many guys better than Jalen. So if I'm navigating that, I'm sure that everything else will be a lot easier.
It's interesting you bring that up because LSU was favored, if I'm not mistaken, by 7.5 in that game. Um, Leonard Fournette,
Leonard for that, a kickoff return, he had like a punt return. He was going crazy.
man,
He like
look,
a,
bro.
but the thing was too is that they was in a position where it was like, okay, they had number one defense in the SEC. They had a bunch of talented guys that was in the league potentially would end up going to the league. I mean, yeah, they had Tre'Davious White, who's doing great for Buffalo, and Leonard Fournette. I mean, they had a little squad on them, so it was the challenge was definitely up to par. I don't know how strong this defense is, Oregon State comparatively, but it's a good opportunity for either way for Steve to have a good day, and then you just gotta let the cards fall where they fall. I mean, it's college football at this point; it's the wild, wild west, and so he can only have his control his fate. And I just think his per- perspective fate at Notre Dame is just unknown unless they have talks with him in the back of what they plan on doing with him. But I don't even think they have an idea of that.
So I understand what you were saying. Going into that game for you, that Music City Bowl, what surrounded you was more secure, right? Because you didn't really have the opt outs, the same culture that exists today. You knew who was playing. You had the offensive line intact that had pretty much been there all year. Not a similar situation to what Steve is going into, but let's be honest, man. Like Notre Dame has good players on the offensive line. Are they young and inexperienced? Yes,
Yeah,
but
when you got Ronnie and Nick Martin in front of you
yeah,
with a McGlinchey and some guys, that Steve Elmer was there at the time, and then you got Will, and then you got CJ. I was like, okay, and I'm going against, you know, at the time, Bob Yako's leftover defense, and then Jalen Smith back there, and so I'm like, I felt pretty good. Like practice was going to be better than the game in terms of play-to-play competition, and I felt like I was keeping up pretty well in practice. So I knew translating against the number one defense in LSU couldn't be that much more challenging. And when it kind of leveled itself out, I had the confidence to go out there do what I felt like my job was required of. It was a lot easier, because I felt I was prepared. Like hopefully Steve will be prepared, and Kenny is saying he's prepared. So it's one of those things where being at Notre Dame, it makes your job easier because everybody in the group project is doing their job too.
you just opened up something left. What does that mean? Because you just really tapped into something and it helped me and helped the fans as well with this. So, in preparation, what gave you comfort is the fact that you were going up against Jalen Smith and then Notre Dame defense. In preparation, Steve Angeli is going up. The Notre Dame defense is intact. So Steve Angeli has been practicing against them all year. He's going up against them in bowl prep, right? Unfortunately, Oregon State's offense will be going up against their defense that's intact, but their defense won't be going up against our offense that's intact. So what's their defense and what's the impact on the Oregon State defense going up against an offense that's really not able to prepare them properly for what they might see with
It's
the
perfect
playmakers
because
in
it
Notre Dame?
goes on Steve Angeli.
Mm.
What does Steve Angeli bring to the table to be the equalizer in all these offensive deficiencies? Is different than when you're playing with everybody in the stable that are dogs, like a Deshaun year. When Deshaun stepped in, everybody was at prime peak performance.
Mm.
All your job is to just look, just don't give it to the other team. That's a really easy job to do. And you can be a star looking like it. But then when it comes
Kind of
to,
like Brock Purdy. My fault. My fault.
hey,
My fault. Go ahead, left. My
hey,
fault.
Brock
My
Purdy got
fault.
exposed because he had to,
Put put
you
me on the
know,
petty train. Put me on the petty train.
straight up. And then you see a situation where expectations change. Now it's like you got to be the reason why, which I think this is the game for Steve. Steve got to be the reason why.
Mm.
But he's got enough of reps against a defense and scout every day. I heard he was doing well, whatever. Now, how does that translate for him on the field on a full game basis? And that's where the culmination of what the work you put in and believing in that work and how it shows on the field is only a result of your practice habits mixed with your confidence that you go out there and do it. And I just felt like I was the best at the time anyway, so that helped just seamlessly feel like I was seeing it before it happens. Because I was so confident in what we called, I'm like, this is my every play was my favorite play. I'm like, oh, okay, bet he called the right one. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to think. You know, you don't quite know everything they're gonna call. So when you hear that play that you like, you're like, oh, okay. I don't care if I'm playing against the 2000 Ravens. I know this play. I'm run two. I'm gonna just go through it. So it didn't matter about the rush. I just knew the play so well that I knew it was a completion before I snapped it, and that's just kind of how it resulted. And when you're decisive like that, and then you got guys doing their part, it just makes it a lot easier. You can know that he's gonna be there. You know he's gonna catch. You know he's gonna hit the hole. You know it's gonna be blocked up. It's not gonna be no crazy blow up plays. They give you things you can handle. It makes it easier. So I think from that aspect, if he can get on that streamline, the
Mm-hmm.
game should be fine. But talent got to be in there. You got to make some plays here and there. Can he make those plays that aren't practice? Because you know in practice they don't go well. They just stop the whistle.
Right.
They ain't
Yeah.
stopping the whistle in this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your talent got to kick in. You got to make some stuff happen. And we've seen flashes here and there. You'll try to run his heart out, get that first down. You know, but
What do you think? How do you think Gino is going to? Because, like you said, you want to get that first hit, right? Like, all right, cool. Now I'm into the game. How do you think Gino is going to massage Steve into the game and get him going and get him comfortable?
the classic BS. Nickel and dime, hand it off,
Well,
maybe take a
I'm
shot
glad.
here and
I'm
there.
glad we have good tight ends, then, if that's the case.
Yeah, you're gonna get a bunch of 5 yard completions and handoffs, and he might run it a couple times, but that's why I'm like, I think the scoring will be low at first until it's okay. We have to go win the game, and now we're calling some stuff, and Steve's trying to make some plays and throw it down the field. So I don't think we'll see that until the third, fourth quarter. First, second quarter is gonna be a intro, first day of English, write one page paragraph, super simple stuff, just to blow time to get close to when you gotta call plays to win the game.
Lucky Lefty podcast. As you can tell, Lil Left, yo, he loved what he got for Christmas, boy. Because usually Lil Left is trying to get on camera with us and is our pseudo producer. Right now, you can hear him, but he's like, Dad, I'm good, man. Go ahead, do your show. I'm over here with my toys. I'm enjoying everything. And it's funny because he's probably trying to, like you said, they try to play each other's toys or use each other's toys. Which that's the great thing about being brothers, bro. That's the great thing about brothers, right? My middle brother is like 10 and a half months behind me. So we're Irish twins, as they call them.
Yeah, that's what I got. Irish twins.
Yeah, so man, we're thick as thieves, man. Yeah, my mother was like, yo, you used to help him out the crib, when you all was smaller. So
Okay,
we
so
were
y'all was
always,
tight. Y'all was tight.
yeah, 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 yeah. And then my younger brother is 5 years behind me. So, man, you know, it's having that Irish twin is it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Okay, so y'all wasn't really fighting as much. Y'all was more like
Mm-mm.
on the same level.
No, no.
Did y'all
It's
go to
like
school together too at the same grade, or he was in the younger grade?
no. I actually went. We went to different schools. We went to different schools.
Different schools. How does
Yeah.
that work?
Um. I don't know. My mother was like over the. She was like president of the PTA, and I think honestly, the principal suggested to her that I go to another school out of the district because of my test scores. And so that's how I ended up on the track that I ended up with, schools. I went to another school outside the district, and then eventually went to a 7th, 8th grade program that was like a kickstart into one of the best high schools at that time. Academically, Morgan Park was one of the best high schools in the city. So that was my path. So I kind of owe that to like the urging of my principal at the time, because my mom really didn't want me to do it. She wanted to keep us together, but my principal was like, "Yo, no, Sean he needs to go take this opportunity." And it ended up being a great opportunity, dude, because I met some great people. I met some great people along the way. Matter of fact, I talked to somebody. Left, do you have anybody in your past? Because we're getting ready to talk about the conversation you had with one of the Notre Dame quarterbacks in the second half of the show. We're going to get to the bag. If you have a get to the bag question, make sure you type in GTB and then ask your question. We appreciate the super chats, the way you guys have been giving lately. Greatly appreciate it. And continue to do so, man. Subscribe to the YouTube page, Apple Podcast, Spotify, each and every day audio edibles. You already know it's the Lucky Lefty podcast. We spin it different. So I bumped into one of my former classmates at Sutherland, which is a elementary school in Beverly. That's where I went after third grade. After leaving my neighborhood, I went to Sutherland in Beverly, which is a really nice area on the south side of Chicago. And he was a year behind. Was he a year behind me? He might have been 2 years behind me, right? So we used to play in the schoolyard, especially when it snowed. Like our buses would drop us off like 30 minutes before school started. So we would literally have 30 minutes to like play a football game. Dude, man, elementary school was the best, bro. Right? Because we would get bussed in and dropped off so early that it would be either the seventh graders against the eighth graders or the sixth graders against the seventh graders, and so on and so forth, right? Right. So when I got there, I was in fourth grade. So when I got to fifth grade, I met Matt Cushing. Now Matt Cushing went on to star in Mount Carmel. He went on to star at the University of Illinois, and he went on to play like 7 years for the Pittsburgh Steelers as a tight end, right? And Matt Cushing was like, dude, even in fifth grade, Matt Cushing was like, oh, I'll do. He came out of a test lab as a kid, bro. Like I've never seen a fifth grader like cut. It was crazy, bro. Like, fam, it was like, dude, that was an easy prediction that he was going to end up playing D1 football and going to the NFL. So it's funny, we were laughing, right? Bumped into him, saw his family, just caught up. And I was like, yo, no one would believe that I used to drag you in football games. And we laughed about it, right? We laughed about it, right? And I was like, yo, I'm actually gonna tell it on my podcast because Matt was a beast in the NFL. He was a really good tight end at University of Illinois. Man, I used to drag that dude on running plays, bro. Cause I was one of the dudes that they was like, dude, just like how you throw it off on the kickoff, and like whoever caught it would just like pitch it back to me. Like Joe, pitch it back to Sean, or either pitch it back to Sam. Sam was the man. Sam was Korean. He was short, but he was super fast and super quick, dude. He was super Sam Barinovich. Man, I don't know where he is, man. I gotta catch up. He was a real cool dude. He was a real cool dude. But we were the two kids, they were like, yo, get the ball to Sean or get the ball to Sam on kickoff. And dude, it's just funny the way life turns out, right? You see this kid like go on to do great things, and it's like, yo. And I say that to say this, Left. I get to my mom's house on Sunday, and my mom has, she's like, I was searching for my recipes, and in my recipes, a bag where I had my recipes, I ended up finding this.
Yes, sir.
This is 5th grade SD2 mics, left. 5th
Looking
grade
good too, man. Got the tie on everything.
with the knit tie. The knit tie. I was before my time, left. That's the knit tie. You know what I'm saying? That's the knit tie. You know what I'm saying? Now my lining wasn't crisp that day for picture day. I was a little
It don't have
upset
to be
about
as a
that.
kid, you know, at all.
I was like, because I think this was around the time where Dad was cutting me up in the kitchen.
See, yeah, we
Dad
all
was
go through
cutting
them
me up in the
times.
kitchen.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? So
Dads need to get back to doing that. By the way, I got my clippers out.
exactly. No
Yeah,
need for $40 haircuts when they're like 2 or 3 years old. That's
I
ridiculous.
don't get it, man. That's a mom thing. That's a mom thing.
MWJR said SD1 mic. Yeah, this was one mic.
Yeah, SD1 mic. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So, yo, also with this was my PBA, my YP BA Youth Pro Bowlers Association 375 series patch. Now, mind you, left, I was 10 years old, about to turn 11, and that was the first time out of a 3-game series that I got over 375 points. So I was averaging almost 130.
That's right.
Bowling
That's
at
right.
110, dude. I was, if I had stayed on track, bro, I possibly could have been a professional bowler. I was like 10 years old, like averaging like 130. I was pretty cool, bro. I
You
was
had the
pretty cool.
rotation.
I'm a lefty. My father got me I had a maroon bowling ball that was like 10 ounces at the time, and it had the little galaxy speckles in it. Had my own shoes, my own ball, man.
That's right.
I went every because we had a bowling team at Sutherland. So I went on Wednesdays with the elementary school, and then my league was on Saturday mornings. So I was really into it. It was bowling, baseball, and hoop. That was it. So, man, the things you find and the conversations that take place over Christmas break, man. That was I hope everybody enjoyed family the way I did. Hey, by the way, left
That's right.
my mom messed up and made, dude. When we got there, she was like, "Man, I overcooked the prime rib." I said, "So my mom,
I like the burn ends though.
but
Burn ends.
my mom and my brother, the family is split. My mom, my brother, and my sisters, they like their meats medium. My dad and I, and my dad, me, my family, and my other brother, they
Medium like super nice medium or like
no,
medium
they
like
like medium. We prefer well, but we prefer to cook it to medium well and then take it out and let it continue to cook.
we call that medium plus.
There you go. She cooks it to medium. She overcooked it, which is perfect for us,
That's
right?
right.
Perfect for us. And like you said, it had that crust on the outside, the little char. It was perfect, left. And then even everybody said it was like the best prime rib she's ever made.
Because you didn't cook it. You
Man,
didn't undercook it.
Lucky Lefty podcast. When we come back, so yo, even when you think you might have done something wrong, you might end up landing in the perfect situation. And that's Notre Dame, right? With everything that happened, Notre Dame might be sitting in the perfect situation going into 2024. We'll talk about it coming up next, right here. But left, SD2 mics, you already know we spin it different. Welcome back, Lucky Lefty Podcast. Get to the bag coming up shortly. Malik was pleased, and I'm glad we could tap into this because there's a reason why a certain young man in the quarterback room at Notre Dame wears the number 8. And it's because in 2014, he traveled to the Liberty City Music Bowl to watch Notre Dame play for the first time in person with his parents. And on that day, he fell in love and decided that he wanted to become a quarterback, dreamed of playing quarterback in Notre Dame, and chose his number to be number 8, when he played, and it continued to be number 8 until he decided to commit to the University of Notre Dame as a quarterback in the 2023 class. And that's none other than freshman quarterback Kenny Minchey, who at that 2014 Liberty City Music Bowl watched MALIK ZAIRE make his first start wearing the number 8 for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And that is what inspired Kenny Minchey to wear the number 8 that he now dons for the University of Notre Dame. Left was able to have a conversation with Kenny Minchey over the break. And Left, give us a little insight on your conversation with Kenny Minchey and the prognosis you have for the young man at the University of Notre Dame. First of all, man, when you found out that story, when we both found out that story from his mother, how did it make you feel knowing that you influenced that young man to want to play quarterback for Notre Dame and to want to wear the number 8 because of the way you played on that day?
Well, yeah, you always feel good when you get to pay it forward and to be able to influence somebody to carry on in a way the story, or at least in a way that through the number. I just think it shows that the little time that I got a chance to do it actually made some impact to people that was watching, and that they can use that and build on it and have a better career doing it.
So going to the conversation you had with the young man, how is he feeling about the game? How is he preparing for the game? Does he think he's going to get a chance to play? We all hope that he gets a chance to play, but what's the overall takeaway from your conversation?
Yeah, I just think he's got the right mindset of being prepared, being ready to go. And so it's just a matter of time before he gets in there. And I think from talking to him, he's overly prepared for this and ready to go to try to get a chance to start. I think he's at that point where we all felt like in his first year and a half, he should be ready to go and play. And I think he's there. He may not know when, but when and if he does, he'll be ready to show us what I think he can. And that's that next level of the passing game. I think he's the first quarterback to show that era for Marcus Freeman and get to doing that.
Do you think all the love, or is he aware of all the love that CJ Carr has gotten since he arrived during practices? And with that, you know, what's his approach? Is his approach just, yo, I'm trying to be the starting quarterback next year in 2024? Does he have the same attitude that you had when you came in as a freshman, where a lot of people don't know, Left didn't want to play whatever system was in place. Left was like, I'm here to compete and I'm here to start. Did you get that same vibe from Kenny Minchey and his approach?
Yeah, for him to even call up there to have an inquiry about getting a chance, and they wasn't necessarily the guy on the radar for him, and him putting himself in that position to be on the radar, you can only be encouraged that that person isn't bluffing. Nobody just calls up there to take on a challenge like that, especially looking how it hasn't quite been the right development, that fosters guys to move on after that and do great things. I think he sees the same potential I saw in Notre Dame, that if just a half decent guy that has the it factor and that has the talent to do it on a high level gets a chance to start Notre Dame, I mean, you unlock you got it. You done found the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow in real life. You up there. There's not too many places that has the rewards and benefits of the position, but Notre Dame is definitely one of those, especially at the quarterback position. So maybe he sees it the same way I did. Anybody that attacks it the way I feel like needs to be attacked, you only in line for something really special to happen for you.
I want to go back left to what Tommy Reese said about Kenny Minchey, National Signing Day, right after National Signing Day last year. This is what Tommy Reese had to say about Kenny Minchey.
Recruiting is an imperfect science. we're thrilled to have Kenny and his family be a part of Notre Dame. I think we went into the off season last year with a group of guys that we were interested in, and Kenny had camped with us, so there was a relationship that was built there early on. Obviously, the ecosystem of the quarterback room is very important to us, and that's something we're trying to uphold. I think we didn't want to just add a guy to add a guy. We weren't looking for somebody to come in and fill a number and just be that role. We want to always bring somebody in that we believe has the intangibles and the physical traits to compete here and be the guy, and that's what we found in Kenny. And I think the more time we've spent with him and his family, the more we know and believe that he's the right guy to lead this class. He's a guy that we look to in the future as someone that can lead our program, and he's a football junkie, which we love, and that's something you learn as you spend time with him. And an extremely talented kid, and I think it goes to show that there is so much growth that can be had. People aren't finished products as sophomores or juniors in high school, and as you continue to evaluate and watch film and get around people, you find the right fit. And that's something I think more now than ever is the evaluation process in recruiting has to be at a premium.
Now, with that being said, let's be fair, because Tommy Rees and his evaluation of the quarterback didn't exactly or doesn't exactly give confidence to Notre Dame fans all across the world when it comes to guys that he evaluated and recruited. But one of the things you pointed out in your evaluation of Kenny Minchey, that's up on our YouTube channel right now, you can go find it, is that he had certain things in throwing the football that guys in the NFL still haven't learned when it came to knowing what pass to throw in what situation. You said for him to have that special gift in high school lets you know that he's advanced as a thrower of the football.
Yeah, I think he's got that similar thing that Tommy has, where it's like that arrogance of, I can be the best in here. I don't need to really say it. I'll just go out there and do it. Kind of a gamer kind of guy. Like he's got the same like snarky confidence, arrogance that lies in that competitiveness that makes them who they are, because they know that they have limitations. They may not have the biggest arm or be the fastest or the flashiest QB on the board, but they quietly know that they can compete with the best of them, and if they get the right opportunity, they'll take hold of it. So characteristically, I think he's made of the right stuff to make a program better and to be a reason why they win, or really just be big in moments. I think that's more of a personality than it is a skill. That some people are big in big moments and some people aren't. And I think Kenny has that potential to play big in big moments. It's more of a feeling than it is like, I know for sure, but
Yeah.
he's made of some of the stuff that guys that take hold of those moments are made of. And I just think it's one of those things where he'll develop the more he gets the time to. And I'm just arguing for him to get the time, because development is going to come in different ways, but it won't come at all if you don't get on the field. And that's what I'm fighting for, these guys to get on the field, and then develop will happen if it happens.
What's the one thing that he's learned the most during his freshman year?
Uh, I'm not speaking quoting him. I'm speaking, my guesstimation of, because I didn't ask him that. But I think he would learn. It's just the politics of it, and that he realizes that it's not always about being the best, because like you said, when you watch the spring and all five guys are throwing and Kenny is the clear best thrower of the football, Kenny knows that too. And he's like, dude, if I could throw better than all these dudes, why am I not playing? I mean, that's just the obvious assumption of when you're in it, because you're like, dude, the best guys got to play. Like, that's what that's what's preached about your whole time growing up, is that, the lead 11, the being the best, and top guys get the best scholarship, this and that. And then when you get in it and realize that the dudes starting, they got all these accolades and has been doing it, and you watch on TV, ain't even the best thrower on the team or doesn't have the same talent as you, it's almost like a wow, like you took the red pill. You're like, oh, I see the matrix.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this ain't about being the best. You know, it's a lot that goes into it. Some politics. You got to be likable by certain people. You know, you got to play right in practice at the right times. You know, and not every mistake is the same. You know, a guy ahead of you make the same mistake you make, but you getting cussed out and he's not. You know, so you learn just the intricacies of how college football is not high school football, and that the best you have to play in spots and moments, and when your opportunity is called on. So you may feel like you're the best on the roster, but none of that matters until you get your chance on the field and you take advantage of it in that moment. It ain't no missing that shot, which he's probably has seen where he's felt like there are moments where, okay, you can pass Angeli if you have a good day. You know, there's days in camp and days in practice where it's not really said, but you know, you done stacked a couple good days. He ain't been putting a couple good games together, and you like, all right, we got scrimmage today. And they were like, all right, just go in there and run the reps over Steve one time. Them reps over Steve one time is major.
Mm.
Them 1 or 2 little reps where you taking his, you know, that's a big deal. And whether the play happens or not, I mean, it's not always your fault, but you know, those are the moments that you get to have as a young guy, where you look back and be like, okay, I can see where they make these decisions at when it comes to the end of the season. They're like, all right, well, Steve's the automatic number 2 ready to go. It's a confidence thing. They got to trust you. And so I think he's learned those intricacies of it's not about being the best thrower of the football. Sometimes it's experience. Sometimes guy been in the system longer, the coaches trust him more. Sometimes he can just make the right checks.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, he blowing these throws every time. It ain't always about that. You know, so figuring out what it is about, I think, is that freshman shock, especially if you're not, you know, slated and slotted to be the guy. Like, they're not rolling out the red carpet for you. Some programs with recruits, they rolling out the red carpet. You know, then everybody else, you kind of got to navigate how you get on the red carpet.
Yeah.
You know, you start as a side reporter. You might do some cameraman. You might, you know, until you find your way on it, you know. It's just the way it is.
Lucky Lefty podcast. As he prepares for the Sun Bowl, you know, did he talk about whether or not he expects to get a series or 2 here or here or there, or?
He said he doesn't quite know, but he's ready as if he is. And I think that's the best mindset to have, man, because when you're in these predicaments, you can't control a lot, especially in transition. You know, those coaches are thinking beyond your personal feelings of the situation. So you got they scrambling on a bigger picture than what you are. You just a piece of it. So they ain't having sleepless nights if you getting in or not. That's just the reality. They have sleepless nights over hiring this OC and having things look the right way and getting out of this season in one piece. And, you know, I think some of the time Marcus Freeman don't even really care about the win, as opposed to things on the up and up and the things in the future plans. I think this is more of just a game for him. Not saying he doesn't care. Obviously, he wants to win, but this ain't life or death.
Yeah.
This ain't the hottest seat he's been on going into a game like this either. Now, obviously, you know, you want to win, you better win. But I think he's more excited about what he's going into next year and looking forward to in this offseason.
And here's Kenny Minchey himself back in the spring talking about the level of competition at the college level.
This level just because of the people that are here. But, yeah, even like in high school, I didn't start till halfway through my sophomore year, and that came from injury from the guy who was ahead of me. So I've been in a spot where I need to compete, and, you know, it's not new to me, and I know, like, you have to have patience. So.
Can you talk a bit more about your competitiveness?
Yeah, I would say it might not show, but I'm very competitive. I always want to win. Growing up, played sports, so that's kind of instilled in me as far as like a competitive spirit. And I would say I always want to try to do the right thing and be the best version of myself. So.
What's the biggest thing you've learned so far since being on campus?
Probably just like adapting to college life, being busy 24/7, school, workouts, lifting, coming to throw, meetings, everything. It's just busy.
You can tell.
You see, he got that freaking smirk.
Yeah,
Like,
yep.
I mean, it is what it is. It's
Like,
whatever.
man, I throw better than all these dudes right now.
Yeah, like
but,
you can. That's what I'm saying. He got that confidence where you don't have to goad him in to try to boost him up. Like he's boosted. You know, he's well understanding of where he is and what he is compared to other guys. So I don't think he's sweating it.
Listen to the jewel he dropped though, Left. He said, yeah, you know, I didn't really start until like the middle of my sophomore year, and that was due to injury.
He's not worried about when he gets out there.
I was behind, but this is the jewel. The jewel is he's letting you know once I got in, I didn't get a job up.
Right. He said that was because of injury. He didn't say the guy got back in. He said I got started and never stopped when the guy got hurt.
So he's dropping the jewel like, boy, if I ever get the reins, no injury, however I get the reins, it's on.
So and then he hits you with the, I mean, I've been there before.
And
the truth that no, he hasn't. You ain't been in no Notre Dame situation like this before. No, you haven't. But the fact that he don't even see it as that, it's more like, I know I gotta wait my turn, whatever. You know, like it's gonna happen either way it goes, and he's ready for it to happen either way it goes, which is what I'm excited for. Which is kind of the attitude you gotta have. He didn't go in there and be like, yeah, Sam was great. I got to sniff his draws all day, and then just witness how average he could be on a seasonal basis. He didn't say all that. He was just like, yeah, I gotta wait my turn, be patient, and you know, when it's ready to go down, it's gonna go down.
You just woke up petty today. Is that what it is?
I'm just saying, like, he's not looking towards another guy in the room to inspire him or get him ready to go. Like, that Notre Dame is not in a place like that yet. Till we get a guy winning some awards in that room or being up for some All-American teams and first pick of the drafts, then everybody in there is the same. You know, you better get in there and make something shake, change a life.
Hey, Steve Angeli, this is your opportunity. Sun Bowl, Friday, 2:00 p.m. Eastern Time. Change your life, man. Live from El Paso, Texas. Change your life. Did I say El Paso? Is it New Mexico? What, am I bugging? No, it's New Mexico, right? Oh, it is El Paso, Texas.
No, it's El Paso. It's on.
I'm bugging. I'm bugging, bro.
See, it's an irrelevant bowl game. That's why you just not spot on, because it's 2:00 on a Friday. People in traffic.
Left is upset about this 2:00 on Friday, bro.
Yeah, like 2:00 is such an inconvenient kid. Nobody cares. It's like you trying to watch your stories, catch up on your recorded shows from last night, getting off work, and you just so happen on, it's 2:00 is the same when they play like NAIA basketball on TV.
Would you prefer to be in the Tax Slayer Bowl like Clemson at 11?
Man, put us somewhere at night, man. Give us some respect when people winding down and needing to watch something like our primetime games. You know what I mean? They got us 2:00. People, it's getting close to New Year's. They getting ready. They ain't thinking nothing about watching no TV at no 2:00 on Friday. So it's a disrespectful time. No, they should have fought for a better time for the game to be played. But hell, from where the game is located, it might be dangerous anything after 5. So they probably trying to get in and out before the cartels and border issues start coming up. You start having all type of illegal immigrants at the game. They just sitting at the game wondering what's going on. So it's one of those things where, you get in, get out, get the season over, write a nice chapter to year 2 for Marcus Freeman. And hopefully these guys can play their hearts out, man. I would love to see these young guys give me something to get excited about going into the spring.
You know what I'm upset about, Left? I'm upset for the Notre Dame players. You know why? Because the gift bags have to be suspect, Left. We're talking about some bowl, Kellogg's, Frosted Flakes, Like, what you getting? Boxes of cereal?
They give you like a point system, and they be like, all right, here are the tiers of gifts,
And then you go in and you're
and
able
then
to
you
like
go crazy. You pick before you go out there. Now, the only time I did
that pinstripe was legendary in New York though. Like,
never had nothing like that before. That was crazy. Maybe it's because New York and they accounted for different factors, but or it could just be the Kellogg's Bowl where they just give you some money because when it got later and became more bowl games, the gifts just became like consolation prize. Oh, we give you $500 stipend and some memorabilia, some luggage, and then get you like a sponsor, like they give you like a remote control car. One of them things. But the New York one, we got the New York Yankees tour, private tour stadium thing. We done got the North Face $300 jackets. We done had the new PS4s when they came out. I ain't got a bed out of it. It was lit. We was downtown New York for.
what you mean you got a bed? You got like a new mattress?
Man, yeah, they had super nice mattresses for like 300 points. That's why I said the point system.
Right.
After that, we went the better bowl games. It was like they just made everything tagged with the bowl game logo, like a nice Nike fit, but it was like the bowl game sponsored. It was like, oh, you ruined it,
I saw the Michigan, put their swag bags up. I'm like, that's it? That's a bunch of.
When you high up, you don't get the same stuff.
So as a player, you want to get the second, third tier bowl because they go out of their way to like hook you up.
I mean, I guess so or maybe it's just location or who's running it. The Fiesta Bowl, they cheap. They cheapos. They ain't give us nothing sweet. When we played Ohio State, they ain't give us nothing but some cool little uniforms and in a one of them drawstring bags with some pencils and papers. You know how that go. It's like one of the things you get from the dentist after you go to the dentist. That's what the Fiesta Bowl give you. That's why they.
Not one of the drawstring bags you get at summer camp.
Yeah, you get one of them like a couple stickers for your computer. That old cheapo. It's like the version of what you get on the airplane. You get your little cookie, you get your little juice.
And then you guys get to like the pinstripe. You guys got the chance to kick it with John Bon Jovi, right?
Yeah, I mean, he had took us out and rented out Little Italy for us. We had dinner on like the street. It was lit. Like that was, dudes went out. We had got Coach Kelly even went out that first day.
Dude, so you sitting out front like Tony Soprano and Satriali.
Straight up. Then Coach Kelly talking about, yeah, we just gonna work our way into practice the next day. So take y'all time. Like it was just the most relaxed, coolest thing ever. Like it was the best bowl game ever.
Hey. I'm willing to bet that Marcus Freeman is like, well, first of all, New York City and El Paso are two totally different cities. So it's not too much that the players can get into in El Paso, but I'm pretty sure Marcus Freeman isn't saying, let's just work our way.
No, hell no, not over there. Not over there.
Let's just work our way into practice. They met with the media this morning and then went straight into practice.
San Antonio's cool though. San Antonio, I feel like they would have fun if it was in San Antonio. I don't know.
You like San Antonio?
They got the Riverwalk and some cool Alamo and all that. I mean, it's things in the region. Things in the region. They might as well just do the Cabo Bowl. That'd be better. Cancun Bowl. If you that close to, if you doing El Paso, might do the Cancun Bowl, Cabo Bowl, do it in Mexico. That'd be lit now. That'd be lit. It's like spring break before the game.
Man, your boys take a beat down in Chicago, and then they let Big Deuce and Little Deuce come through the Staples Center or Crypto Arena, and Chicago dude had to carry the day for the Lakers.
He was trash yesterday. What are we talking about?
No. I think you got it mixed up. I think LeBron was trash yesterday.
LeBron, this is what, 19th Christmas Day game? I mean,
here we bring it up number.
AD's supposed to be coming in the clutch, and what is he doing?
He had, dude, what you want him to do? Put up 50?
Yeah. Sometimes we need some of that.
All right, man.
LeBron got to score 40 to win a game. What's up with that?
You know what was the most shocking stat I saw all day yesterday?
What?
Steph Curry is averaging 16 points a game on Christmas Day for his career. I was like, yo, that's crazy.
Is that good? Or?
Steph Curry is averaging 16 points
That's
out of
not
all the
good. I
games
don't
he's
think
played
that's
on
good,
Christmas.
right?
That's hard.
Okay. I didn't
That's
know what you were
hard.
trying to say.
I'm like, yo, that's yo.
Well, he got all them kids now. He probably stressed out on Christmas.
So we get into it. The Arrowhead Invitational is on pause for a year. The Chiefs are
Oh, what?
The Chiefs are super mid.
Oh my god.
Super mid, dude. Bruh. Super mid. And you know what I realized?
Who's going to beat him?
Who's gonna have more leverage? Who's gonna have oh, the Ravens would beat the Chiefs this year. You stop. The Ravens would beat the Chiefs this year. Stop.
One game?
Yes. Especially if it's not in Kansas City. Yes.
One game.
Yes.
You bet
Yes.
against Patrick Mahomes.
Yes. If Kyle Hamilton is healthy and playing, to take away Travis Kelce and to force them bum receivers to have to make plays, yes.
Now I love
Yes.
Lamar. I think Lamar should win Super Bowl. I just, you too convincing for me. You don't
Yes.
got no.
I know we all believe, we all are like, oh, as long as they got 15. Okay. Yeah. All right.
You
And
say
we
it
just-
too. You say it too fast. That's all.
And 15 showed last year that he can win with scrap metal at wide receiver. Like we
Yeah.
saw that.
It's one game.
So I understand people not doubting 15. The Chiefs already beat the Dolphins. I'm not in on the Dolphins. They already proved they can beat the Dolphins. So no, the Dolphins.
What about the
Dolphins
Brownies though? The Brownies might have something to say too.
The Brownies would be the Browns would be a dangerous squad.
Yeah, their defense is so good.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, see, I want to ask a question, LL question of the day, because I believe going into this offseason, Marcus Freeman has fallen on his sword multiple times for Notre Dame over his first 2 years. And I think Marcus Freeman is in a place of having some leverage within the program for what he needs and what he might want. I think we saw that with the Mike DENBROCK situation and the way it played out. We didn't have any haggling over buyouts, and he got more money than he was going to get in his new contract, according to reports at LSU. So now, no haggling with the finances. Notre Dame jumps in feet first financially for Mike DENBROCK.
I mean, DENBROCK was kind of tied in already.
But you know what else left? Marcus Freeman has leverage. Ladies and gentlemen, when this season is over, you better believe Patrick Mahomes is going to get whatever the hell he wants this offseason. Be a trade, draft. If he wants to get rid of Matt Nagy, who he was screaming at to get the plays in yesterday, you think Eric Bieniemy didn't make a difference? I guarantee you. Question of the day, who do you think is going to have more leverage in the offseason? Pat Mahomes, Marcus Freeman. Because I think they're both going to have leverage for what they want. But that cat, Pat Mahomes, is going to let it be known. You can get these tackles out of here, these bum tackles. You can get these bum wide receivers out of here. Go get me a dude. Keep Rashee Rice. Man. Bums. Absolute bums. Lucky Lefty podcast. Well, Left. Yeah, Nagy he's pretty bad. He's pretty bad. Get to the bag, brought to you by Fashion Geek.
I don't think Patrick Mahomes savvy enough to go in that front office and start changing things around though. He ain't LeBron level now.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
He
Don't
couldn't even
get
keep Tyreek.
no. First of all, they came to him about Tyreek.
He couldn't keep him.
No, he couldn't keep him because Miami came in with an offer that was ridiculous.
If Patrick Mahomes was like LeBron, he would keep him.
Bruh,
He kept
look,
AD,
wait a minute.
and I'm sure Chicago wanted to pay a bunch for AD.
Stop capping. Stop capping. Stop trying to promote this dude. That dude had 0 GM power during his first stint in Cleveland. That's why he left.
I'm talking about who do you think Patrick Mahomes had?
He wanted Amari Stoudemire, and the GM told him no. He wanted other players, and the GM told him no. So stop acting like LeBron has always had power to just walk in.
He does. Through his career, LeBron has had 114 different players he traded on his team.
Dude, will you listen? For the first 7 years, he had 0 power. You see the way the owner talked about that dude when he left? That dude had 0 power in that organization as far as players. Carlos Boozer left LeBron, fam.
Carlos Boozer is a blip on LeBron history.
I'm just
Darvin
saying.
Ham and Ime Udoka got more credit.
When Carlos Boozer was a free agent, LeBron asked him to stay, and Carlos Boozer bounced and went to Utah.
But we all know it's documented fact that everybody on LeBron's rookie team was hating on LeBron.
That may be true. That may be true.
Bunch of them was haters. So Carlos Boozer, I'm not surprised.
Except for Big Z.
Except for Big Z. And Big Z stayed. And Big Z stayed. And LeBron took him to the finals against the Spurs. And I mean, LeBron played against 4 Hall of Famers. I mean, what do you expect? 4 Hall of Famers with Drew Gooden and Zydrunas Ilgauskas. And Sasha Vujicic, whatever his name is.
Lilo Galante said, SD and Malik, what's your guys' predictions for the 2024 linebacking core looking like? I think Kaiser is a wrench. Let the young Bulls eat. Osbury, Bowen, Smead, Ava, Ziegler, and company.
I think Osbury should be that staple in the group. I think Osbury has the talent, the size. You know, I'm excited to see this Marcus Freeman era of linebackers be pretty stout. I think we can squeeze out a Manti in there somewhere, you know, eventually. We need a marquee linebacker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And hard cap in the NFL means absolutely nothing. I don't know if that's why teams hire capologists. Hard cap in the NFL means absolutely nothing.
Especially when y'all paying Montez Sweat all that money. What y'all doing over there in Chicago?
Like you can draft, you can trade, manipulate the cap in the NFL. It's been done for years, dude. Jerry Jones constantly.
You see how Shohei Ohtani got it done? NFL get it done the same way. Prolong your
the 49ers are
40 years.
Manipulating the cap. The Cowboys manipulating the cap, just building players. The Philadelphia Eagles with Jeffrey Lurie have been doing it for the last 2 years.
The Rams, how they won a championship, they signed all them players.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Dude, you can manipulate the cap and get whoever you want.
They made Aaron Donald take a year off to pay him.
Yes. Facts. That's
he took all of last year off, wasn't even playing.
Yeah. That's it. There's so many ways you can manipulate the cap in the NFL. You know, and look, I applaud Kansas City they did it last year. They started the most rookies and won the Super Bowl, or the second most rookies last year and won the Super Bowl. So I applaud them for not panicking, handling the Chris Jones situation. Not only handling the Chris Jones situation financially and making it a short-term gap, but drafting on that defensive line. And now you're seeing some of the young defensive linemen come into play. Karlaftis is playing better. He's going to get even better. The back end, all of their guys, defensive backfield are young. So you have to coach and develop, right? No problem. Kansas City can draft, coach, and develop. They just don't know how to draft. Rashee Rice is going to be nice. Nice pickup, but they're gonna have to go get a dude via trade.
I mean, they'll be all right. You got to get the offensive
And see,
coordinator.
this is the thing with Pat. You don't have to go get, let's say, you don't have to go get Justin Jefferson for Pat. You don't.
I mean, you do. They got Tyreek Hill, and they were super successful.
No, I said you don't have to go get that type of wide receiver to be successful. But just get some competent ones that can actually catch the ball. Just don't come into the next season with Kadarius Toney and Justin Watson, bro. Like, can you not do that? Heck, the Chicago Bears wide receiver core will be an upgrade over the Kansas City wide receiver core.
Who?
If DJ Moore was in Kansas City, DJ Moore has 1,200 yards.
You said the receiving core. You said the receiving core. Oh, hell no.
I guarantee you Mooney would be better off with Patrick Mahomes.
What?
Than Kadarius Toney. Even though Mooney drops the ball a lot.
Kadarius Toney plays special teams too. Shout out to my former teammate. He was a baller when I was at Florida. Shout out.
Yeah, dude, he's a goof. Man. The cap, you keep arguing that the cap is real. And every year we watch teams manipulate the cap. Like you're arguing a totally different point. Kansas City didn't let Tyreek Hill go because of cap reasons. They let him go because of guaranteed money. Do your research. Tyreek Hill said this himself. He went back to Kansas City, who had offered him a deal. The cap wasn't a problem. They wanted him back. Miami guaranteed him more money, and he asked them flat out, can you match the guaranteed money? And Kansas City said, no, we're not going to do that. The cap wasn't an issue. They wanted to bring him back. They had a plan on how to manipulate the cap to bring him back. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. The cap in the NFL for good organizations and winning organizations is not an issue. It's not an issue. If the Cincinnati Bengals want T. Higgins back next year, they can figure out a way to get him back if they want him. T. Higgins might have to take less guaranteed money and maybe get more of a signing bonus and structure the deal a certain way, but the cap can be manipulated very easily. We watch teams do it all the time. That's all I'm trying to say. The Chiefs did not let Tyreek Hill go because of cap reasons. The only reason that they let him go was guaranteed money. He gave them an opportunity to match the guaranteed money, and if they had matched it, he would have stayed in Kansas City and structured the deal to do so. When they told him, no, we're not going to give you that much guaranteed money, he went to Miami. And honestly, that's the main issue for players in the NFL. Most of them. What's the guaranteed money? Especially if this is my big opportunity to cash out. I need guaranteed money. No, there is not only so much you can manipulate, dude. You can manipulate with signing bonus. You can manipulate with restructuring. You can manipulate with escalating bonuses. It's like 4 or 5 ways you can manipulate the NFL cap. They make it this way for a reason. That's why you hire. Literally, like teams have staffs of 5 to 7 people that all year, this is what they do. Research, cap, find ways, find cracks to deal with the cap. This is why they do it. Period. So when you say he left Kansas City for cap reasons, that's not true. He didn't leave Kansas City for cap reasons. He left Kansas City because he got more guaranteed money from the Dolphins. The fact that he went back to Kansas City after the Dolphins offered him showed you that he wanted to stay. Number one, he wanted to stay with Kansas City. Otherwise, why go ask them if they can match it? If Kansas City had matched the guaranteed money, he would have stayed with Kansas City and they would have structured the deal the way they needed to manipulate the cap. That's what Jeffrey Lurie is great at that. San Francisco, going back to the previous owner, DeBartolo, and still to this day, they're great at that. Who am I missing? Somebody else is great. The Ravens have been great at it over the years with Bisciotti. Jerry Jones does it. Shoot. He doesn't do it effectively, but Jerry Jones does it. You know, it is what it is, man. It is. The cap didn't prevent them from the guaranteed money. You can pay guaranteed money and signing bonuses in 4 different ways. You're wrong. I'm trying to tell you what I know. If I didn't know for sure, I wouldn't say it. There's 5 different ways you can get guaranteed money to players and structure it. Before they play, after they play, there's so many ways you can do it. So no, the cap did not prevent them from giving him the guaranteed money. They could have found a way to guarantee the same amount of money and structure the deal. I'm trying, you know what? I'm trying to tell you. I do. 5 years, ESPN, all I did was work with NFL guys. I'm trying to tell you. The cap in NHL hockey, serious. The hard cap in NHL hockey, serious, very serious. It's very serious. The cap in the NFL, bull crap, full of it. And teams prove it every year. It's a facade. It's a facade. Heck. And what does it mean? Because every year, like this year, last year the Bears had over 100 million in cap space. I think this year the Bears will have 60 million in cap space. Right? And the report now will say the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys, and other teams will have like $3 million in cap space going into the offseason. But somehow, some way, with $3 million in cap space going into the offseason, they find a way to manipulate the cap, bring in this cat, trade for that cat, and they're all making over $3 million. How are they doing that? Manipulation of the cap, because the cap has so many loopholes and is made that way for the business model of the NFL. Just trying to tell you, man. It's as simple as that. That's why it's the greatest product. That's why it's one of the greatest products ever. It's one of the greatest products ever, dude. And that's why they keep yesterday, the graphic, in the hunt. And they keep fan bases like the Bears and teams that are 6-8, 7-8, still feeling like they have a viable chance to make the playoffs and like to get viewership up and drive revenue. Like, dude, the business model and the way they structure it in the NFL is chef's kiss, man. They do an incredible job. Incredible job. Dude, you keep arguing points that have nothing to do with what we said. First of all, stick to the point. You were wrong about Tyreek Hill. Just admit it. Or go do the research and get the quotes directly from Tyreek Hill on several podcasts. You don't have to believe me. Go hear it from the horse's mouth. That's all you have to do. He talked about it. This is not about, there is no cap in baseball. You can spend what you want. Look at the Dodgers. That's apples and oranges. Why are you even bringing up the NBA and Major League Baseball? It's apples and oranges. That's common sense. Of course, it's totally different and more limiting in the NFL. But they structure the limit with loopholes on purpose. They structure it on purpose. Look, he can do what LeBron does. What are you talking about? And what does LeBron do? What does he do? What does he do? They traded a boatload of picks that literally made New Orleans a good basketball team. Literally. For Anthony Davis. That's what they did. Patrick Mahomes can get his general manager to trade picks to go get an impact wide receiver. What are you talking about? Is that not the same thing? Please help me. Is that not the same thing? If Patrick Mahomes walks in and said, go get me a dude, it's up to the front office to figure out a way to get the dude. You act like LeBron got the Lakers to sign Anthony Davis in free agency. He didn't. They traded for him. They traded for him. Matter of fact, name the big time free agent. Name the big time free agent that LeBron got signed. Name Ray Allen. Left. You tell me, what's the biggest free agent? Free agent, not trade. What's the biggest free agent that LeBron got somebody to sign? You on mute?
D Wade in Cleveland, right?
Oh, you went that low?
It's not low. D Wade's a Hall of Famer.
That was back in D Wade though. You might be right though. You might be right. Wait a minute, Austin Reeves, right? He went to bat for Austin Reeves.
I'm not, I don't support that. So
hey, I'm trying to tell you, man. He went to bat for Alex Caruso, and Caruso went to the Bulls.
But be fair, LeBron's the best player in the world, so it's not like him bringing. Who is he going to bring that's going to look like a good free agent trade better than himself? He's the best player on the team.
Well, this dude keeps saying Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback can't go get me a big time receiver. He can. The Lakers traded for AD. The Chiefs can trade picks for a number one receiver. Why is this concept slow? Why is this concept slow? Patrick Mahomes can literally say, dude, find a way to get me a receiver. And
Rodgers does it.
Exactly.
He be bringing Randall Cobb anywhere he go. Alan Lazard got a pay because he went to the Jets because of Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
exactly.
Tom Brady does it.
And once
Drew
again,
Brees does it.
See, he keeps going into subjects that I'm well versed in. But he tries to bring up Ed, and this is for fun. This conversation is just for fun. He's talking about the Warriors and KD. Draymond Green and his agent at the time, BJ Armstrong, set up the KD move 2 years before it happened. This is why you have to do your research. This is why Draymond Green purposely set the KD deal up to go in line with the restructuring of his new contract. So they found a way, him and BJ Armstrong, 2 years before the KD move happened. This is out of Draymond Green's own mouth. This is why you got to do your research. They found a way to manipulate the cap to be able to get all 4 of them to a point in the cap because they weren't underneath the cap. They had to pay a luxury tax. This is why you have to do your research. And this is why teams manipulate in the NBA because the cap doesn't mean anything and great organizations are willing to pay the luxury tax. They don't have a problem going over the cap because the cap is crap. Period. And Draymond Green and BJ Armstrong, 2 years before KD hit free agency, said, yo, we can get this guy if you take this. Draymond, if you take this instead of what you're really worth and structure it like this, you guys can go get him in that summer. And Draymond started working on that verbally with KD out of his own mouth 2 years prior. So stop believing that all the cap limit. The cap don't limit nothing for smart people. If you got smart people and good ownership, the cap doesn't limit you from going out and get other good players. That's why the 49ers, the Eagles always seem to add good players every offseason when they have minimal cap room, according to reports. That's it. So it's disingenuous to say Patrick Mahomes can't tell his ownership, go get me a guy because he's limited by the cap. They have trade assets. I don't forget the cap. They have trade assets via draft picks. That's how you get other good players in bad situations in the NFL. Trade picks, get a good receiver, and we don't have to talk about the cap. It's that simple. So you keep talking about the cap, and then you still haven't told me. Left said old D Wade. You said old D Wade, right?
Right.
Right?
Right.
If that's the best, all this power LeBron has, that's the best free agent that he's brought in his career.
Everybody wanted to beat LeBron at the time.
But see, my point is his biggest acquisitions has always come via trade.
Well, he had Shaq too.
Yes, it's via trade. So Patrick Mahomes can literally ask for the same thing in the offseason. That was the whole point. All this talk about the cap and all that stuff and Tyreek Hill, that means nothing. Absolutely nothing. If he wants a receiver, it's up to the front office and the ownership of Kansas City. Clark Hunt and Brent Veach has done an incredible job as a general manager. Incredible job. Incredible job. They just restructured Chris Jones in a short time to manipulate the cap and still give them an opportunity to go out. I think the only reason Kadarius Toney wasn't cut is because of the cap hit his contract would have put on the books. So it makes no sense to let him go into the off season and move on. The Kansas City Chiefs knew in order to set up 2024, man, we have to take one more year of not going out and getting a guy and seeing what we can do. So they've been setting up the 2024 off season. They've been setting this up. I think what's the Adam? I was about to say Adam Johns. Adam Rank had an article about this. Like, dude, you better get Kansas City now because the draft capital they have in 24 and 25, on top of what's coming off the books in 24, 25. Yo, they don't have to pay the youngsters on the back end, I think, for another 2 years or something like that. Dude, that's why I said what I said, Left. Like Patrick Mahomes took it on the chin. He took it on the chin this year.
Yeah, but he knew what he was signing because he knew.
He knew what he was signing up for. He took it on the chin, and that's why I said Marcus Freeman took it on the chin in multiple ways over the past couple of years. But I think they both go into the offseason with leverage and opportunity to speak their mind for what they want. I think we've seen Marcus Freeman get benefit from that a little bit here recently. Hopefully he benefits more. And like Adam Rank said, man, don't sleep on the Chiefs. You know, it might be a one-off thing, and don't sleep on Notre Dame. I know they're in the Sun Bowl, but heck, we were just laughing at Washington and Texas playing in the Alamo Bowl last year, and here they are playing each other in the college football playoff the next year. It could be as simple as that. It really could. So that's my connection to Patrick Mahomes and Marcus Freeman. I always had to throw the alley-oop to bring it back to Notre Dame. Lucky Lefty podcast. Left, anything else before any other tidbits from your conversation with Kenny Minchey?
No, man. I'm just excited to see what they put on the field, honestly. I think you'll meet.
Follow us on YouTube. We greatly appreciate you guys. We're going to have an end of the year show on Friday, because I think Friday might be our last show of the year unless we do a Saturday show left. Well, no.
Okay.
No. Friday will be post game. I'm bugging.
Post game, yeah. Gotta get a post game.
Friday night post game show. Friday night of the Sun Bowl, and then Saturday we will have the end of the year show, and we're going to have multiple guests on the show. We're going to cover the entire year of Notre Dame football. Ups, downs, best moments, worst moments, player of the year. I can guarantee you this. Sam Hartman ain't getting the MVP on the Lucky Lefty podcast. That I can guarantee. We can tell you that now.
Facts.
We're gonna have a discussion.
We'll give you a real award show.
Yeah. We're gonna give you a real award show. That cat Sam Hartman ain't winning not one award on the Lucky Lefty podcast.
He's Steve Nash over Kobe for the MVP right now.
He's so crazy, man.
You know Steve Nash didn't deserve it that year.
I'm gonna be honest. Would Sam Hartman be even in the top 3 of our MVP race for this season for Notre Dame?
No.
I don't think so.
Because what was his moments that he made himself MVP this season anyway? Somebody give me one moment.
The 4th down play against Duke. That's what comes up.
Really, that's what we signed him for. In comparison to what we signed him for. What was his moment to be the MVP on the team? And you cannot say it was Duke. We're supposed to win as a team success over Duke.
Left, I was just answering your question, bro. I'm sorry, man.
Was it the 50-point win over Navy? Really?
Left, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just know he's not winning MVP. He's not winning Offensive Player of the Year. He's not winning Defensive Player of the Year.
At all.
No. And, at some point, we're going to give our predictions for the rest of the bowl games, still. Which I already have you want to hear the rest of the predictions? Because then we can just do yours later on in the week. I'll save them for later in the week. But I have Notre Dame 31-13 for sure left. 31-13 for sure over the Oregon State Beavers, man. Mark it down. And I only said that because, look, our starting tackles aren't playing. You know what time it is left.
Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, Petty Story today brought to you by ONORA Whiskey at OnoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey at OnoraWhiskey.com. MalikZaire.com for all your traveling needs. Hit up MalikZaire.com and watch out for Left as he builds his portfolio out. That kind of Left is becoming a developer of not only quarterbacks and offenses, but communities as well. So, and he's not a Trump. You don't have to worry about him. He's not that type of landlord.
I don't know. Trump's a billionaire. I saw something. The other day they said generational wealth starts with somebody that was a thief first.
Mm.
Somebody had to do something wrong to get the thing kicked off for generational wealth to really start.
That's funny because it takes me back to the conversation they had on a Joe Budden podcast when they said you have to understand the difference between greed and capitalism. Right? Capitalism is a system built to take advantage of, and greed is just, greed is greed, which doesn't necessarily, have to deal with you taking advantage of somebody.
I mean, how does it not? Because to
I
be
mean,
greedy, somebody else has to have less, right?
hey, bro, if I sit down and have a great meal, right, and the waitress flirts with me and she wants to give me her discount on my ticket, I'm not taking advantage of her.
Because you can
No,
say no, thank you.
I didn't do anything I didn't dude. What am I capitalized on her? I'm just blessed that she
The
thinks
discount.
I'm a cute dude. I'm blessed that she thinks that highly of me. What do you want me to do?
So cute is subjective. I, the beholder.
That's right. So she is the one that is beholding. So in her eyes, I deserve
You
a
worth the
discount.
discount.
I'm worth an employee discount. Now,
But you have to match what she's thinking, though.
Now,
because if you was just like, nah, I'm not interested.
No, for me to capitalize on that, no, that's not even that's cap. Because nobody watching us right now would say no to the hookup. Stop. That's going back to the Peter Ward days. Like you suspending them 2 games because he got hooked up on some shirts at Dillard's. Really? We all have done that.
If he wasn't Peter Ward, he wouldn't get the discount.
That's my point. It's not my fault. The sales lady had a crush on Peter Ward. What do you want him to do? Say no? Come on, man. You wouldn't say no.
The rules are the rules, Sean. I don't make up the rules.
Would you say no? I don't care what the rules are. Would you have said no?
Are there consequences?
Come on, Left. Just can never get a straight answer. Come on, man.
Because I want to answer it right now. I don't want the things to be clipped up and put on the message board. Oh, Malik thinks everything in life is free.
Now, to capitalize on a situation, and some people might feel the fact that you're paying less is capitalizing on the situation. To capitalize on the situation would be for that person to then turn around and take advantage of the kindness and maybe ask for a phone number or try to set up a date or something. Now you're trying to take advantage of the situation because you're trying to take it further. But, Left, the South Alabama player that snuck back on the field to blindside another player from the winning team gets a lifetime ticket punched on the petty train today. That's one of the dumbest and most cowardly moves I've ever seen in my life. Ever, man. It is, who gets that upset about a loss or something that transpired during the game? Like, I would love to know what was behind it, whether or not it was something said, because it could not have just come from pure competition. Could not have. He's on the petty train, and I don't even want to say his name because I don't want to embarrass the young man like that. But man, that was horrible. Ed 3, thank you for the super chat. Love you, Sean. Sorry for how you didn't hijack the show. It's all conversation, dude. We're just in the barbershop chopping it up. That's what we do every day, centered around Notre Dame football. You got anybody on the petty train? Somebody said they want to put Dr. Umar on the petty train.
Dr. Umar was speaking that truth, man. That brother that went to Lions Den.
Huh?
The Ish that went into the Lions, then he was defending too hard, man. He was too emotional in it.
Well, see, when it came out why he was defending so hard, it's like, look, you want to start talking about like how many people you employ and all of that, man, you moving the goalposts. That's not even the conversation. That's not even the conversation. Which is why I said, man, you have to when you talk to intellectuals, man, you make sure you do your work, man, because emotionally reacting and being defensive, it's not a good look. It's not a good look, right? And it's funny because I've had this discussion with people left that feel a certain way about Dr. Umar Johnson, and I don't agree with everything that Dr. Umar Johnson says. But you know what Dr. Umar Johnson is? He's a person of action for our community and young people. And I put more value in that than people that do this. Because there's a whole bunch of people out there that do this. Talk, put up a facade, and don't do anything for the community. The one thing that's undeniable is his track record within the community and within the culture of works, actual works. That is something that you can't take away from. You can't. You don't have to like him. You can't take that away from him. So, like I said, I don't agree with everything he says, Left, but I don't have to. Heck, we don't agree with everything each other said. Dude, I don't agree with everything Left says. He doesn't agree with everything that I say. Left put TD Jakes on the petty train the other day. I wouldn't have put him on the petty train, or I would never put anybody like that on the petty train. I wouldn't. But it is what it is. Paulo, that could be true. But when we're talking about intellectuals, and once again, if you're going to interview an intellectual, like if someone has credentials in a certain area, you can't sit there and refute the fact. And if they're spitting facts, you can't respond to their facts with emotions as a host. I'm just trying to give some bullet points for people that actually want to get into podcasting and do things. That's one thing. And I gave an example of Angela Yee. Like, always be prepared for the people that are coming on your show. Always. Small tidbits, do your research, especially if they're an intellectual. Period. So, I'm going to go upstairs, and you see I'm scruffy, guys. So as I give you a goodbye for today, baby girl got me a nice little shaver, new shaver for Christmas. I think I'm about to go use it, man. Lucky Lefty Podcast. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll dig in more to the matchups on the defensive side of the ball, on the offensive side of the ball. And then we'll have some sound, hopefully from Media Day today. And we'll be one day closer. Friday, 2 o'clock, El Paso, Texas, the Sun Bowl. Notre Dame takes on the Oregon State Beavers. For Left, I'm Sean Davis. Ooh, I didn't think we would give you 2 hours, but we did. Lucky Lefty Podcast, man. Have a great day.
Yes, sir.
Most of all, make sure you spin it different.
Spin it different.